When I start a book, I normally want to finish it. I really dislike starting a book and not getting to the end. But once I I dropped a book after 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes into it, and I was already tired of it. Like I was sick of it already. Why? Now, imagine reading a story. It was a fiction book. Imagine reading a story where the author, all the author is doing is describing every single action that the main character in the story, is performing, is doing. Something like this. This is an example. My partner finishes her coffee and goes back to the bedroom. I throw plates and cups in the sink and go get ready. I take a white t-shirt, some pants, and a jacket and head to the bathroom. I get the shaving foam and the razor and start shaving. Then I put on my clothes, brush my teeth, and go back to the bedroom. My girlfriend is there adjusting her new skirt in front of the mirror. I look at her. She looks at me. I smile. She smiles back. Then I get out of the room and go downstairs to wait for her. When she's ready, we go out. Like all this paragraph looks like it's full of action, but actually, no, it's not. It's not. Like all this could have been written, could have been said in one sentence. After breakfast, we got ready and went out. So, why am I telling you this? In a book called 100 Ways to Improve Your Writing, Gary Provost said this: writers often write long-winded and unnecessary transitions because they are afraid that the short phrase hasn't said enough. So this is a mistake that writers often do. And I was about to make the same mistakes when I was writing my own book, Any Language You Want. In Any Language You Want, I tell a story. In one of the chapters, I tell a personal story on how I found a job in a coffee shop in London. And I tell this story about going to the recruitment center, and I say this: I was wearing a yellow t-shirt with a drum kit printed on the front when I walked in. "Hello, I'm Italian and I'm looking for a job," I said to the guy at the desk. He smiled. "Thanks for sharing your Italian." I didn't know the meaning of the word sharing, so I just gave him an embarrassed smile and said nothing. The guy was Italian too, and he liked my t-shirt. He was a drummer like me, and that was enough to get me booked for a trial day. I would have to work for 4 hours in one of the shops, and if everyone in the team liked me, I would get the job. Okay, after this, I couldn't move the story forward because I started talking about the trial day. I started writing about waking up anxious that day, the day I had the trial day. I started talking about what I did in the shop, meeting the manager, meeting the other colleagues, what they made me do, like cutting onions and all that stuff. And I was like, this is not relevant. This is really not relevant to the story. Like, I'm giving too much details. So I didn't know how to continue the story. Finally, I found a sentence, a 3-word sentence that saved my life. Not my life, but that made the story move forward. So I said this: I would have to work for 4 hours in one of the shops, and if everyone in the team liked me, I would get the job. They liked me. I was hired as a team member, and as soon as I got confirmation of that, I wrote an email to my boss in Italy saying I was resigning. So that sentence, "they liked me," It's one of the, I think it is the sentence I'm most proud of, because in 3 words, they liked me. I kept the story going without boring you with the trial day, without boring you with all the details um, that I was writing before. I was writing about before. This is something that in storytelling is very important. Giving only the details that are relevant to the message, relevant to the story. So if something is not relevant, why would you include it? Like, this applies not only to writing stories, but even to writing emails. Are you happy when you receive an email that's full of unnecessary details? I'm not. I'm like, this could have been said in a few sentences. Um, Being succinct is something that I really love. Being succinct in my writing, not so much in my speaking, because in my speaking, you probably have noticed already, I tend to, go on. I tend to talk about things that are not relevant. I go off a tangent and then I never come back. So speaking is different. I'm not as skilled, I believe, in speaking than I am in writing. So being succinct is something that I love, I was saying, and to be succinct, to be concise, one way to do this is to remove anything, everything that is unnecessary to the message of your story. This is an art. This is not something that you learn in one day. So one way to do it is to ask yourself, when you're writing, one way to be succinct, and when you're writing a story, when you're writing an email, when you're writing anything, one way to be succinct is this. You can ask yourself 3 questions. These are the 3 questions. Is this event, detail, or information relevant to your story? If it is, then you can include it. If not, don't include it. Would the reader feel confused if I didn't include this bit? No? Then consider cutting it. If I was allowed to include one thing only in this transition, what would that be? In other words, what's the most important thing that could not be omitted? Include that and remove the rest. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this will help you maybe be more concise, maybe trying to remove bits and pieces from the things that you write, because not everything you write, not everything I write is relevant. The challenge is to identify what's relevant and what's not. And for that, well, you need your own intuition. We need our own intuition, and we need also a critical eye. We need to adopt a critical thinking skills here. So do I really need to say this thing? As you can see, I'm not that skilled in speaking, because this video could have been like a 3-minute video. But thank you for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.